Hi, my name is Brooke Lippman,
And I'm Dr. Deb Lippman,
and this is Wine Together.
a podcast where we drink some wine and have a chat.
So sit back, relax, and get that corkscrew ready.
Okay, so we have for this week a Chilean Cabernet Sauvignon. I don't know if I can say that correctly, Sauvignon. So Cab Sav for those of us like me who come from the U.S. South, and that's what we say. So salud.
Salut.
And let's get that first taste. I'm going to swirl mine for a few seconds, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I mean, I did swirl, before we started, but, I just want to kind of bring those fruits forward, so. Well, obviously, we've already had the wine because we had a little tasting with our food, but what do you think? What was your first thought the first time you had this one? Because this is our first time with this one.
Is it? I feel like
Nope. I've never had a Terraced. Never had a Terraced, or I haven't, so maybe you have?
I don't know. For some reason, I thought we'd had this one before.
No. Or I haven't. Maybe, like I said, maybe you have. I have tons of notes here. And honestly, I mean, I hope I don't kind of, because, yeah, this is definitely my first time. And I learned why it's named what it is. But anyway, what is your first sip? What do you get from your first sip?
Spicy, but not like not like spicy, but it's spicy. You know what I mean?
Yep. So my first, I had the fruits right away. So I don't know about you. What fruit do you?
I don't know.
And anybody that happens to be listening along, if you've got a Cab Sav, or if you happen to have this Cab Sav, sip with us. We would love to, hear comments about those who have sipped with us. So, and tell us your first sip. We'll get into second sips and third sips too. But my first sip, 100% the blackberries and the dark fruit, the dark berries. It was just like a basket full of berries to me.
Okay, I got grapes.
Okay.
I have to say it did taste like grapes.
Okay. Well, you'll see the wine. Obviously, you'll see a picture of the bottle on Instagram. But this is a Chilean Cabernet. It has the words Gran Reserva on the label, which was probably, and in fact, if you recall from the store, I said, "Ooh, Gran Reserva, let's get that one," because it wasn't that expensive. Again, less than 10 francs. Don't know the exact price that we paid, but
it was on sale also. Right?
Yeah, and it was on sale, so we went ahead and got this one. But see, a lot of times when it says Gran Reserva, we know that from Riojas. And a lot of times, at least in the Rioja region, that means that it has to stick to very strict aging, an aging timeline. But in Chile, that's not necessarily true. And we'll talk more about that later if you want. But so we just kind of are here to investigate if it deserves the Gran Reserva.
Okay.
And honestly, for me, right away, it was, heck yeah, it deserves it. So, but, I mean, I hit those fruits hit me right up front. But then, as you go on into it, I mean, I definitely, kind of the wood, a lot of oaky stuff, but to me, it's like a freshly shaved pencil, that second sniff, which makes me remember, when I was a kid, we had to,
we had those pencil sharpeners too when I
love smelling the wood. So this is kind of funny to me that I would say it's like a freshly shaved pencil, but
I've had to use the hand crank ones also.
Ooh, yeah, I love this Cabernet. I think it's definitely making an entrance for me. I mean, it's 100%. Oh, I just covered my mic. I apologize for that. 100% making an entrance. 100% is just exactly what I expect from a Cab Sav. I mean, I don't know what you expect from a Cab Sav, but I love red wines. I mean, just love, love, love. And so Cab Sav is one of the oldest red wines, and yeah, so 100% good entrance for me. What about you? You didn't say black currants then. I was so expecting that from you.
No, I did not taste black currant, actually. Not really.
Okay.
Well,
I love the deep red color, the ruby color. That's our birthstone, ruby, and I love the purple edges that it makes on the. So, what do you think of? Let it see if you take another sip. Tell me if you get a good long finish on it.
I don't know what you mean by long finish, but
like, does it kind of sit there, or just go away?
No,
okay,
it sits there.
I think it sits there too, and I like that.
Like like in this spot in your throat, actually right before it starts to go down.
Yeah.
Like it sits there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, Chile. We're in Chile this week. Okay. So, I don't know a lot about the area. I remember, again, everything always comes back to school for me. I don't know why. It's so weird. I remember having to learn how to pronounce the name of this country. I don't know, what was that, 5th grade? Is that 5th grade when you're learning some world geography?
I don't know. They don't teach us that stuff
So
anymore.
I remember, again, I grew up with very Southern women, female teachers. And whatever year it was, I remember a lot of people, Chile. That's how we pronounced it. And we had a guest speaker from this country come in and speak to our class, and she taught us Chile. And I thought, okay, I'm never going to say it wrong again. I'll never call it Chile again.
Okay.
But that's kind of how it was pronounced in our area. But I remember her coming and speaking, and I thought, oh gosh, what a neat person she was. She was just so pretty. And so anyway, it's a neat place. I really want to go visit sometime. It's absolutely on my bucket list.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of hiking. It's all
know.
mountains. It's all mountains.
Yes, the Andes.
Mountains and ocean, because it's on the coast.
Exactly, which is such a good segue into why this wine is such a it's a good economic provider for this country, this particular wine, because it actually survived. There was a phylloxera epidemic in wine regions. It's like this bug that was eating the plants.
Okay.
It decimated the European wine vineyards, but Chile's wines survived it because of the Andes Mountains, the Pacific Ocean. It was just so isolated that the wine grape or the grape roots that came in that were introduced in Europe weren't introduced in Chile. And so they did not have to deal with this bug kind of that came in, wouldn't you know, from America. And killed all the grapevines. So it's really interesting that, the region it's obviously something. Your dad would love it because it's good biking.
Yeah.
And he would love to bike up those mountains. I would love it for the hiking. And obviously I'd love it for the wine. So it's definitely on my bucket list to go visit. So we've already talked about the price point. It is spot on. For us to go and have to buy 2 bottles for what we're doing, we're really conscious of what we buy. And this was not something, for some reason I had to think twice, but I think it's because we actually bought 3 bottles.
Oh, no, remember there was a reason for that.
There is a reason.
Because they were different years.
Yes, so this was on sale. The vintage that we bought for the podcast and for the tasting with the food was on sale. But the one for the vintage year before was not on sale. I said, well, we're getting it anyway.
Well, it was also the only one of that year.
It was the only one of that year. So this is the 2023 vintage, and that's a 2022 vintage that we're saving, and I can't wait. But we did decant this one because it's young. It's right at the kind of the beginning stages of the prime drinking age of this wine. And so since it's young, we did decant it for about 45 minutes. And so, but yeah, Chile is supposedly such a great area for growing wine because it has, just natural barriers. So, and I thought it was really interesting that it survived that bug outbreak in the 19th century. So that was kind of funny for me. So anyway, we also, and I've said that word too many times, so I need to not say that again.
Fine.
what is a good Cab Sav craving all the time?
Craving?
Yeah, what does a Cab Sav crave? Tell me, little Cab Sav. What do you crave? What did you cook?
Oh, I was very confused. Okay, so when I looked up this wine, I did, as much as I hate using the AI, I didn't feel like doing too much more. I looked at the AI food pairings and like what it suggested. And it was like, well, you could mix it with like red meat, or like poultry, and then it specifically said Italian and Mexican food, which obviously I did not do. But I was like, ooh, let's look up some Chilean dishes, and I was like, I don't want to specifically look for anything to pair with red wine. Like I didn't want to look up, because sometimes I look up dishes from that country to specifically pair with the wine, and I didn't feel like doing that. So I was like, let's do something different. Let's find something a little bit that's not like
that's going to make us want to visit that area even more.
Yeah, so I did like a pub food kind of thing, or like a bar food, which is like, according to what I found, it's something that you will find at every bar in Valparaiso, which is the capital of Chile. And so basically it's called choriana, and it's French fries with eggs, onions, sometimes tomato sauce. The recipe said the tomato sauce was optional, but we added it in anyway to give flavor to the onions. And then it has beef on top of it, but not like ground beef, like beef steak. So, which is good because I can't eat any other beef. And so we did that, and it wanted the beef cooked like well done, but I was like, I didn't want that.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
We don't eat charred meat in this house. No. Sorry.
True.
But we put it all together, and it very much was like pub food. And I specifically also, because like what you said with the last wine was that you would want it with like a pizza or something like that, something different, because this specific food is usually paired with beer.
I can see that.
Because it's a pub food, right?
Yeah.
It's like fish and chips. Like most of the time you're probably not going to drink it with wine, right? But it had like, basically the only thing that was on the food pairing list from this recipe was the meat. And I was like, oh, but the egg was really good with it.
I thought that was excellent. I thought that was excellent. Yes.
Was really good. And then the only thing I wish I had was those like cardboard trays that you get from like movie theaters and stuff, with like your nachos and stuff, so we could have served it like that. That would have been fun. But
yeah, that would be fun. But I will say, anytime I've thought about, if I'm going to have a good Cab Sav at a restaurant, I kind of always want to eat a steak with it. Or if I'm ordering a steak, I know I'm going to this specific restaurant for a steak, I know to look for, a Cab Sav, or sometimes a Malbec, but Cab Sav is usually the go-to. And I was so glad that we had that steak. Yeah. Because this wine definitely called out, boy, that steak sure is good with me. And I thought it was definitely, just a great pairing. Yeah. And I love French fries. I mean, it's just one of my favorite things to eat. And so, for a weeknight thing where we're trying a wine and I happen to get steak, which, is very rare.
Plus,
we don't buy steak often.
No, and you got to use the new deep fryer, so.
I did. I got to use a new piece of cookware, that deep fryer, and I thought that was pretty good. But I will say, last night, as your dad and I were trying the wine, because, it's so funny, because you'll do all this work, and then you don't sit down with us.
Sorry.
There's just to have the conversation.
To sit with
but
you.
You're right. You're right. It's a small area. And things are just, kind of crowded right now. But I as I was drinking it, and we were kind of, we were just so happy with the steak, because, again, we don't get steak often. And maybe once a year.
And there was enough of it that you don't just eat it on the, like, we had enough left
we have
over
enough
that you
left
get
over.
it for a couple days.
We could do fajitas, if we wanted to. But, there was plenty left over, so it's almost like, it just keeps on giving. But just to have the steak and, my pommes or French fries with it, I was so excited. And a good Cab Sav that I've never had. And I thought, I went to do that. And you know what? I also learned, it's so funny because I learned kind of about why this wine is named. So in English, we would say terraced, which is, probably a hard word to kind of think about. But I think in Spanish it's probably terraced. But it's named this because the grapevines are kind of terraced. They're grown like on very steep hills. And they're very steep, and so the water just kind of runs over them. Like it runs over a terrace. And so I thought that was an interesting thing about this wine. I thought that was really good, and it was kind of like. Then I learned about the Cab Sav grape.
Okay.
It was an accidental grape.
Interesting.
It was not intentionally groomed or grown. In the Bordeaux, I think it was in the Bordeaux region in France. I hope I have that information correct. 2 grapes, the Cabernet Franc and the Sauvignon Blanc, cross-pollinated.
Okay.
And made the Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay.
And it's so funny because the grapes do have a thicker skin, so you get that darker red wine, and you just have those tannins that just kind of stay on your tongue and sit with you a while, while you're having a conversation or eating this meal. And one thing it was really good last night for me is at the end, after my steak and my French fries, I went and got some dark chocolate to have with this Cab Sav, and oh my goodness, it just it just melted in my mouth. It was so good. So I thought, I could just have Cab Sav with, just about anything. But yeah, I did think it was kind of fun to learn that it was an accidental grape. But good job with the food pairing. Yeah. So I just want to say, one more time, if anybody's listening and happens to have, let's give you guys a 10-second challenge. If anybody's listening and has a glass of wine with us, we want you to kind of take that first sip and get that fruit right at the front. Whatever you get from the second sip. But we'd really like to hear which fruit you get on your first. What basket of berries or whatever do you taste? And we'd love to hear from you if you kind of want to share that information with us. So, what about the food? How hard was it to cook all that?
Well, I didn't do it by myself. I've never cooked steak, so I didn't want to risk doing it for the first time on something, obviously this important. So you cooked it, and then you did the French fries also, because I don't know how to use the deep fryer. But I mean, it was pretty easy because I just sat the onions. You also cut the onions for me, but I washed the skillet, so it's fair enough. I mean, it's pretty easy. You just throw the onions in there and put the tomato sauce in. And, I did a little barrier to keep the eggs separate. Because apparently I didn't read the instructions all the way through before making it. So I didn't know there was supposed to be scrambled eggs. Because in the picture, they just do fried eggs. The picture, of the thing, it has the fried eggs, or the eggs on the skillet, not scrambled, just looking like you're supposed to do fried eggs, right? And then in the next sentence it says, okay, put the scrambled eggs. And I'm like, whoa, you did not say scrambled eggs. So, but I think the fried egg was better because we each got one.
I did too. I liked the fried egg. And I will say, I actually had a little bit of yolk movement in mine, and I was so excited. I think your dad was jealous. He was like, sorry. I should have taken that egg.
You guys could have told me that you guys wanted, I guess I could have, but I know I did say that I wasn't doing 3 separate types of eggs, because I was doing them all at the same time, and was like, I don't do over easy eggs. I'm not a big fan of them. I prefer over hard, but it might have been good with the fries. Because sometimes I'll be I'll suck it up, if people don't do over hard eggs, I'll be like, whatever. But it's just, if I'm cooking the eggs, I'm not doing over easy. Yeah. Well, but I did put salt and pepper on them.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. And I was glad you didn't put a lot of salt on mine, and that was perfect because I'm really trying to watch that.
Yeah.
My take on the eggs with this tomato paste and onion mixture.
It was good.
That was so
I
excellent.
Had some of them.
I don't think I'll ever eat eggs without onions and tomato paste in it. Again, it almost made like a cheese type texture.
It would also
on
be
my
good.
egg.
It would also be good with peppers in it. Like if
Mhm.
we mixed peppers and onions.
Yes.
And like those chili peppers, the red ones, like long thin red ones from
Oh, they're
Migros.
so hot.
But that would be so good, right?
Yeah, that
Like
would
I'm
be good.
thinking of
It
all the
would be
peppers to
good.
put in this.
Because honestly, if we're not, if it's not necessarily pairing, like we did it with a pear and a Cab Sav.
Yeah.
Sorry. We could do it with. I could definitely see this with a different type of protein.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the egg is a protein, I know.
Yeah.
But like an added protein, like we did with the steak, we could do a different protein with that and have it with a beer. Definitely could see it with a sausage and beer, like with a pretzel on the side.
Yeah.
Definitely a German version of
turn
this.
it into I was gonna say something about something.
Was it the peppers?
Well,
we were
no,
talking about the peppers.
I do love peppers. I put peppers in everything. When I make breakfast in the mornings, I make sure to cut up some peppers because I love my peppers.
That is such a good vegetable to add to dishes.
It's so good. It's just But I was gonna say about the onions. I made the little borders in between with the onions so that the onions would get in the eggs a little bit. Like obviously not all of them because I wanted some to put on top of the eggs. But like having them separate. But yeah, I think it could also be good with like fish or with chicken, like shredded chicken, with some different spices.
Yeah, I don't know about fish and eggs.
I do fish and eggs.
You do fish and eggs together.
You didn't do fish. No, did I make it with fish for you once? No, I made it with chicken.
I haven't tried that yet. So it's
really
good?
Yeah. I really love fish and eggs. It's
maybe I'll have to try it
really
sometime.
Good.
I know I wish we could get to where we're talking about our next wine, but we're just not there yet. No. But maybe that's something, because that would be a lot of fun if, people who are listening, week to week, if you knew which wine we were doing ahead of time, we could all have our wine
They know
together.
by Thursday.
Well, I guess that's true. You know by Thursday what it's going to be. So, so there you go. Never mind that I thought that. Because, that is a lot of work for us to figure out. Also, you don't
want to give it away too early.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Let's just talk about this week's pour, though. This was it for us. I felt like for this week, that Chilean Cabernet, it definitely delivered for what we were looking for what we wanted to talk about, for what we wanted to share. This one was excellent. And it was perfect. Anything else? You should say more.
I don't know what to say more about because I already talked about the food. I guess I need to start looking up history of the food that I cook. Because some of it does have history.
That would be kind of fun. Yeah, if we could find some history on the food. Because I will say, having learned that this hearty grape from the Maipo region, it's the Maipo Valley in Chile. Just hearing the story about how hearty it was and how it survived. I mean, this grape has been around in Chile since the 1600s.
Interesting.
It is an old grape, and it just, again, is a vital part of the economy, and it definitely has made me want to visit the area. And just knowing the story about, this one makes me want to visit.
Yeah. I mean, also, we've never been to the Southern Hemisphere before.
I have never been to the Southern Hemisphere. That is correct. I have not. And it was so funny. Growing up the way I did, I was terrified of travel. So, I don't know what's gotten into me, why I want to visit these places. It's mainly for the wine. I'm not going to lie.
Have you ever been farther south than Florida?
No. Miami's the furthest south I've been.
I haven't even been there. Orlando is the furthest south I've ever been.
Okay. Well, Miami's a lot of fun. You should go while you're young, though. I was too old to be there. I was definitely, not. It was fun, but not as fun as I think I would have had when I was younger. Yeah. So.
Nice.
Oh well. So. Perfect wine for this week. Good job picking that out.
We'll be back next week with a new bottle of wine and a new topic. And no, what? That's the old one. Oh my gosh, my brain went back to the old.
That.
We'll be back with a new bottle of wine and a new food pairing If you don't want to miss out on our regular weekly episodes, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Wine Together Pod. Join our Facebook group, Wine Together Podcast. Subscribe, comment, and like on YouTube, Wine Together Podcast. And is that it?
Salud.
Yeah. Salud.
Yes.